What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to Funnelheads. Today we're going to be taking a look at some exclusive Carnival Cruise content, and that is shore excursions. The shore excursion that we're going to be going over today is the Whitewater Rafting Class 3 out of Limon, Costa Rica. We're going to basically go through, detail what to expect, what to bring, of course my thoughts on the shore excursion, as well as provide some personal photos of my experience doing it. But first, before we get there, if you're new to the channel or returning and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, becoming part of that Funnelhead family. We'd love to have you. Also, commenting and liking on the video is much appreciated and does truly help me out, so thank you so much for doing that. So let's get right into it. This shore excursion, like I said, you can book directly on carnival.com, or you can of course wait till you're on board the ship. Now, if this is one of those excursions that you've been really looking forward to, or you know you are going to do it, I would go ahead and prepay for this. There is a limited amount of spaces, and the last thing you want to happen is for it to sell out or just not be available when you go to book it on board. So I would just go ahead, pay for it early. One less thing you have to worry about, and you're guaranteed your spot on this shore excursion. Now, this to get to the river from the port is about an hour bus ride. Now, the buses, when we went, which was about a year ago, it was June, first week of June in 2019. So things, of course, can change a little bit over time, but the buses that we went on, super clean. Bus driver was very friendly, knowledgeable, of course, about the area, was easy to understand, and the air condition was wonderful, of course, and also they did have free internet, which is definitely a plus as well. Now, I didn't hook up to the internet, so I don't know how good it was, but yeah, hey, free is free. I just enjoyed, of course, taking in the scenes of Costa Rica. You're not there every day, just looking at the wonderful banana farms and everything like that. So definitely amazing time. So I enjoyed the bus ride. Some people hate, long rides. Like I said, it's about an hour, so it wasn't terrible, but that's an hour each way. So you're in the bus for 2 hours over the length of this tour, which again, that brings up my next point, is this tour is actually about 6.5 hours long, give or take about 30 minutes. I think ours came to roughly 6 hours, but I'm sure with traffic or whatnot, some days it can be a little bit longer than others. Now, once you get to the river, you actually break up into groups. So if you are in a party of 4 people, the rafts fit 6 to 8 people. So you will automatically, join other guests to make a full raft, which I actually went by myself on this shore excursion. My amazing wife had my little one for the day. They did a rainforest tour in Costa Rica, which we'll do a separate video on that shore excursion as well. We tried to get little man to go to Camp Ocean, but he just wasn't there yet. We didn't feel comfortable, leaving him for such a lengthy time, so she volunteered to take him. Thank you so much for that. That was amazing, because I really enjoyed this tour immensely, if you can't tell. But anyway, so once you get there, like I said, you break up into groups. I was by myself, so I got put with 7 other guests, and by the end of it, we're all high-fiving, laughing it up, and we ended up sharing some drinks at the end, and then of course met on the Lido deck back on the cruise ship, which was awesome. So I ended up making 7 new friends during it. So really cool experience. So if you are by yourself, or maybe just your significant other or whatnot, friend, don't be nervous about of course getting in with other people. That's part of the experience, and after the first little meeting, you'll be good to go. Now, before you get on the raft, your guided tour, which ours was amazing. I'm so sorry because I forget his name, but you could understand them very clearly. They go over, what to do, what not to do, some of the signs, if something happens and all of that good stuff. They go over the safety gear, which they do provide you, all the gear. That's the helmet, your life vest, and the paddle, of course. There's different size paddles for, of course, your length and all that good stuff. So, and they'll show you how to use everything before you get onto the raft. Now, recommended items to bring on this tour, definitely bathing suit, change of clothes, I would put it in like a small backpack. Water shoes are probably important. I had water shoes on. Sunglasses, of course, sunscreen. If insect repellent, if you want it. We went again, like I said, the first week of June last year in 2019, and I didn't notice the bugs really at all. They didn't bother me, and usually bugs are all over me, so I wouldn't really, I mean, I would just say bring it just in case. It's better to have it, you know, and not use it than not have it and need it, of course. But again, they weren't an issue for us at all. And then I would just bring a little bit of cash. There is an awesome souvenir shop that we'll get to in a second at the end of it, as well as, you know, you can buy some drinks and things of that nature. But that's really all I would end up bringing on this tour. Now the amount of time that you're on the water, again, this tour is about 6 hours long, but you're gonna be on the water for about 90 minutes of that time, which I thought was a good length. I, of course, love the tour, so I wish it would have been a little bit longer on the river, but it wasn't short by any means. We had a good amount of time where it didn't feel rushed at all. Now, what to expect while you're in the water. We went and it had rained for a few consecutive days before we ended up doing this excursion. And from what our tour guide was telling us, you know, the more it rains, of course, you know, the faster the river gets naturally. So he led us to believe that it was a little bit faster than normal, which was an added benefit for me because I just love like those situations. So we definitely hit areas where, you know, water kind of went all over us, you know, it kind of tossed you around quite a bit. There's other times during, you know, being on the river where it felt more like a lazy river. You're not really doing much paddling. You're just kind of relaxing, soaking it all, you know, soaking everything in and all that good stuff. Now there is a photographer on the river in a separate kayak, so don't really worry if you don't have like a waterproof camera or anything like that. It's almost impossible to take pictures while you're whitewater rafting, and the professional photographer does a really good job at capturing you know, those photos, of course, and we're going to look at those in just a minute, my personal photos. The other thing about the professional photographer, of course, you know, it's not free. You do have to pay for the pictures, but when you get off the raft, they tell you the packages. I can't remember the exact amount that it was, but you could actually split it up between all guests in your raft. So if there's, you know, 2 or 3 different, you know, families or groupings of guests on the raft, you just split it, you know, 2 or 3 ways or however many people are on the raft. For us, it broke up to, I think it was like $25, you know, per person or something like that. So, but definitely worth it. They could have charged a lot more and I would have paid for it because, of course, we didn't have any pictures. You know, a lot of times with shore excursions, you can, you know, take your own pictures, but this just wasn't the case. So we would have probably willing to pay, you know, a lot more than that, but the pictures are really good. And again, we'll get to them in just a second. Now, again, after the tour, they bring you back to this little area where they have a buffet. There's a souvenir shop. Again, that's why I suggest bringing that cash, not only for the pictures, but also the souvenir shops are really cool. I actually picked up this little guy, which we haven't found a space for it yet, but we'll figure it out eventually. Right now, he's just kind of floating around, but hasn't broke yet. So we'll hopefully we'll find a spot for it before it does. But anyway, they have really cool different souvenirs at that shop. And then you can also buy like local beers and things of that nature if you want to have a drink with your fellow guests after the you know, shore excursion on the river. So we definitely enjoyed a few of those. Now the buffet, the food, there's so much of it and the food was really good. Like, this was probably the best food that I've had, you know, in like in the Caribbean in a, you know, a place that we normally don't eat at. Usually we try to stay away from food, you know, because you never know as far as if you're going to get sick, you know, how it's prepared. But everything in this facility was super clean. I didn't have any issues, you know, even thinking twice about eating. So amazing food. Definitely dig in. You know, you can have as much as you want, of course, just kind of like the cruise ship itself. And let's see. Now, of course, the price on the cruise of the shore excursion right now is still $114.99 per person. Now, do I think it's worth it? Absolutely. This shore excursion was probably one of my favorite shore excursions, and you know, not like tooting my own horn or anything, but you know, we've been on upwards of 25 to 30 Carnival cruises. That's a lot of shore excursions. So saying this one's even close to being the top is really something, you know, special. It was just an awesome day with awesome people. You know, the weather, of course, was amazing, so that helped out as well. But this tour was definitely special. It was worth every penny of that $115 per person, and I honestly probably would have paid more. Even if they didn't provide the buffet, I would still say that the $115 was worth it just for the river time. So definitely amazing. That is pretty much it for the details of the tour, but I wanted to show you and share some personal photos of my experience. I hope you enjoy. I'll see you in just a minute. So that's it. That was my personal photos of this shore excursion. Hopefully you got a good overview of this actual tour, you know, gave you some good insight. And if you're thinking about doing it, just go ahead and do it. Definitely an awesome time, worth every penny. You won't be disappointed, and you'll have some great pictures and a great story of an amazing day. So thank you so much for watching. Perhaps I'll see you right back in the next video or on a cruise ship one day. Catch you later.